All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into the news of the day, we have another new channel member. It is BlueLiner_7 in PA with a Tier 1 membership. Blue Liner, you've been commenting on a lot of posts here recently. Glad to see you got a channel membership, man. Glad you enjoyed the videos. Thank you very much for that. And that is now 31 channel members. Absolutely incredible stuff. Really appreciate everybody that has helped me out in that aspect of things. As now we look at the news of the day. There has been way too much going on, and usually I would love this because I can make a bunch of videos about it, but there's just so much. I feel like I can just put it all in one video and be able to get all the news out there to you very, very quickly. The first thing on the board here, and this was kind of under the radar, Darren Naida last night on a podcast is the first driver to be the first known commitment to the All-Star Circuit of Champions in 2025. He announced it on a podcast last night. Darren Naida, just 20 years old. In January, he will turn 21. Last year, he was able to accrue 4 wins, 3 of those coming at Butler Motor Speedway in Michigan, and the other one was with the Maverick Wings Sprint Car Series at the Lincoln Park Speedway in Indiana. Darren Naida, a young driver that I like a lot. I think he's got a lot of talent. He's just not ran enough races yet to really showcase everything he's been able to do as far as his talent level goes. He's ran well with the Outlaws and shown some speed as well with High Limit. And so that is a good driver to pick up there with the All-Stars. You want to try and get that young talent going. And this is the first step for maybe a guy like Naida to get out on the road a little bit, experience the life on the road and following a full-time schedule. And so this is a guy right up the alley that I thought would be maybe a contender to go on that All-Star Circuit of Champions tour. And so we do expect more guys to be announcing here very soon that they will also be following the All-Stars next year. Darren Naida, the first of what I'm thinking they're going to have maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe that's a little bit low. But the All-Stars also announced that they're going to State Line Speedway today in New York. So we already can tell that their footprint is going to be pretty wide outside of the state of Ohio. So looking forward to seeing that All-Star schedule coming out later on this week. Yesterday, Donnie Schatz, right after I posted that video talking about Logan Schuchart rejoining the Outlaws next year, Schatz also put it out. So Donnie Schatz back on the Outlaw Tour for what will be his 28th season as a full-time driver with the series. He joins Cole Macedo, Logan Schuchart, David Gravel, and Sheldon Hodenshield as drivers that we know for a fact will be on the Outlaw Tour next year. And, Donnie Schatz back on the tour. No surprise, honestly. And it's great to see. He is the face of the series. He is the brand of the series, in my opinion. Without Donnie Schatz, I think it would be a huge hit to the Outlaws. He is a huge star. People may not like him because he won so many races, but it is hard to deny that he is not a guy that people look forward to watching when they go to an Outlaw race. You know you're going to see Donnie Schatz in that number 15 car for Tony Stewart Racing. So great to see him back on the tour. Another big announcement here today, and POWRi in the news quite a bit here recently. They have now sanctioned their 97th different series. And yes, that is a little bit of exaggeration, but I would have to say it's over 30 now. But this is a big deal. POWRi is going to be sanctioning the Fast on Dirt series next year, along with the Boss, the Buckeye Outlaw Sprint series, which is a non-wing series that runs around the Ohio area. And they are teaming up. It's Talon Turner, who is one of the main guys behind POWRi, Aaron Fry, the main guy behind Fast. I don't know if anybody saw this coming. Those two, entities kind of joining together. We saw it yesterday on the POWRi schedule. They do have a couple of races that are co-sanctioned with Fast. I thought that was a little weird, and now it makes sense as to why they did that. They're bridging the gap, they said in the article, between Ohio and Missouri, and they're hoping to, increase payouts. Honest Abe Roofing is going to be one of the main sponsors behind the Fast on Dirt series next year as well. And so we'll see how many guys will do the Fast on Dirt series compared to the All-Stars. And it really, to me, it almost seems like it's POWRi and Fast versus the All-Stars and High Limit. Does that seem like anybody else to you? Does it seem like that to you guys as well? Because we saw that article, we saw the Facebook post by Aaron Fry saying that High Limit had asked him to, shut down the Fast series or whatever that was, and join up and put all the resources into the All-Stars. He said he did not want to, do that. He wanted to make sure that his series kept on going. He's put so much work into it. And I think that kind of left a bad taste in Aaron Fry's mouth with High Limit. And now he joins up with POWRi. who is trying to be the dominant force when it comes to the regional sprint car series next year. And so to me, it almost seems like there's a little bit of divide between POWRi and Fast and the All-Stars and High Limit. We're going to wait and see who all joins up, what the schedule looks like for the All-Stars, and what their payout structure looks like as well. Every POWRi race paying $5,000 to win, $50,000 to win the championship. They got 4 races that pay $10,000, or 5 races that pay $10,000 to win. So the All-Stars, they need to step up. And so far, I mean, they got Naida. I saw that state line race, got to pay $10,000 to win. So they've got some things in the works that seem like they're going pretty well so far. The big news today, I would say the biggest news out of everything on the board here, is Brock Zearfoss is now off of the World of Outlaws Tour. A couple weeks ago, I did do a video looking at the High Limit and the full-time drivers from the Outlaws from 2024, and I predicted what they would do next year. And I did have Zearfoss not rejoining the Tour next year. After 3 seasons, he will now fill the seat next year of the Eichelberger, the Rich Eichelberger number 8 car that Freddie Raymer has ran for the last 2.5 years. And Zearfoss and Eichelberger will be running full-time for points at both Williams Grove Speedway and Port Royal Speedway. Zearfoss, a former Port Royal Speedway champion and a former winner with the Outlaws at Williams Grove Speedway. And I think this is the right move right now for Brock Zearfoss. There is no doubt about it. The last 2 years have been extremely, extremely tough for him on the Outlaw Tour. He couldn't buy luck if it was for sale at 7-Eleven, man. I mean, he just could not get anything going for himself out there on the Outlaw Tour. He's also going to have full-time next year with him, the new crew chief of Jim Shuttlesworth. That is going to help immensely. And so I feel like with this, Zearfoss going to a 100-race schedule, running for points around PA, he'll fill in the gaps with his own 3Z going to the big shows. I think if he can build up some confidence this next year and maybe the year after that, I don't think we're done seeing Zearfoss on the road with the Outlaws or any full-time national tour, but he needs to go back home. He needs to build confidence. He needs to win races and run well. And then I think once he does that, gets the notebook dialed in, maybe him and Jim Shuttlesworth really hit it off, then we can maybe see him go back on the road full-time. But this was the right move, in my opinion, for Brock Zearfoss. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this move for him? It sucks to see such a nice guy leaving the Outlaw Tour, but for him, I think it's definitely the right move, in my opinion. In some non-wing sprint car news, we don't talk about non-wing too much here on the channel, but RJ Johnson is going to be driving next year full-time with USAC CRA. This is the Arizona RJ Johnson, not the Iowa RJ Johnson, not the California RJ Johnson, but the Arizona one. He will run with Petty Performance Motorsports number 33P car. And the reason I put this on the board is, man, you have to admire Jerry Petty's, dedication to the sport of sprint car racing. He's, a big part of Avanti Windows and Doors. He has cars on the national tour with USAC. He runs a bunch of midget stuff for different guys. He's a huge sponsor. He's a sponsor with High Limit, huge sponsor with USAC. And you just got to love what this guy's doing. I know he's a huge part of the Arizona races next year with High Limit as well. This guy is putting a ton of money in the sport of dirt track racing. He's helping out tracks. He's helping out series. He's helping out drivers by putting them in cars. And so very cool move to see a full-time contender with USAC CRA next year, a series that really needs some more guys to run that deal. I used to announce USAC CRA, and you could tell that it's kind of gone downhill over the last couple of years. So it's good to see a guy like RJ Johnson, multi-time Arizona Sprint Car champion, join that series full-time next year. Also on the board, I was sent a message today about the Premier Motorsports number 70, the car that Craig Kinzer drove this year with the Outlaws full-time. They will be coming out with an announcement here very soon on their driver for next year that will follow the World of Outlaws Tour full-time. I mentioned in a couple of videos, especially with the Michael Dutcher car, when I mentioned him in videos, that for these guys, these car owners that are trying to go on a national tour, there's not many drivers that are out there that are proven winners that are going to be able to go out there and immediately contend for top fives and wins. Established drivers, they've already got something figured out with a different car, or they're not going to want to join a car that hasn't proven themselves very well. And I think that these guys are going to have to start taking some flyers on young guys that are coming up into the sport. And from the sounds of it, the Premier Motorsports 70 is going to try something like that next year. And they are going to be back, it sounds like, on the full-time World of Outlaws Tour with a surprise driver. So stay tuned for that news. I don't know if anybody saw this coming. I didn't even think the Premier Motorsports 70 was going to come back to the Outlaw Tour, but here we are. And the final thing on the board, The finalists for the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Rookie of the Year nominees for the 410 division. Logan Julian, who was in the news recently, he'll be driving the Gibbsville Cheese 73 next year with the IRA Sprint Cars. He was the IRA Rookie of the Year this year. He's one of the Rookie of the Year contenders, along with Landon Crawley, who ran full-time this year with the Outlaws, and Dominic Gordon, who ran pretty decently out there with NARC this year, got that huge win during the Dirt Cup prelim night. And so those are the finalists right there for the Rookie of the Year nominees for the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. So they will vote on those, and the results will come out next month sometime. Let me know who you would have as your Rookie of the Year in 410s. If it was up to me, I don't know much about Logan Julian. I didn't watch the IRA a ton this year. But for me, I feel like that win for Dominic Gordon at the Dirt Cup, he got a bunch of other wins around the West Coast as well. I think I would have to go with Dominic Gordon. It's a close call between him and Landon Crawley. But for me, Dominic Gordon would be my Rookie of the Year, I think, in 410s. Let me know your picks down below. Also, let me know your thoughts on the rest of this stuff on the board. Hit the subscribe button, and we might be back later on today. With POWRi going on, there's so much stuff coming out. We might make a second video. Thank you guys so much for your support, and we'll talk to you again soon.